The novel coronavirus seems they're going all out with this new fictitious prose strange narrative story, right? This live replay of an exercise of a couple months ago that others have covered. But it's the same old fear programming. Corona, crown, a garland, but also the sun being eclipsed. And that's what they're doing again with this. Eclipsing the mind, eclipsing the imagination, the creativity of the masses with all these stories being pumped out to drive the real disease, the real virus, the fear. The fear is what it is. It's causing the disease because they're making folk think something is happening that's not happening in the way it's just not. It's just like all the other lies. That venomous substance of the virus is fear. That is what causes the dis-ease inside the heart of mankind. That's what's been the generational control tool to keep mankind enslaved because of fear in the heart, trauma in the heart that the mind can't deal with, doesn't know how to deal with, can't conceptualize to get the big picture or deep picture of what has actually happened, what is actually happening, and where it's all leading because of the trauma in the heart. So they're in a state of fear. Fight, flight, freeze, all this stuff happening all the time because the heart is still suffering trauma from all the other things that cause the issues. It's not these new viruses and things, it's because of the state of unhealth inside, because that's what happens when you grow up being injected with chemicals, poisons, toxins, metals, mercuries, and things that make it so the brain cannot cognitively process and picture reality for what it is, or the self for what it might be. So the brain logically is filled with information that is incorrect at its foundation, attaches labels to itself and reality without being able to picture what's happening because of all the toxicity, because that's what happens when you eat chemicals, when you eat genetically modified everything. It modifies your own genetics. So what's going on? It's all the same stuff playing out over and over. It's all a big circus. It's all a big clown show. It's all to drive fear. It's all to keep man and woman from realizing simply they're just all men and women. They keep them playing someone else's game that someone else set up for them, all to play generations ago. And likely long ago, the sorcerers that set up this ridiculous, nonsensical game have long died off, and their little fractured psyche apprentices have been running amok and just, well, really getting darker and darker, and maybe likely even more dumbed down than the masses that they were keeping suppressed. Much more dumbed down to the point to where they can hardly function at all either, because their skewed perception of reality is so far off and their egos are so huge and they're so locked into this so small, really fractured, compartmentalized psyche that feels so large to them, this false god complex of what they can think they perceive of reality and what they think they are within it, because of so much trauma and darkness in their own hearts, because they are so scared inside of death and what comes next, because deep inside they know how wrong they've been. Because likely for them, just like for everyone else out there, from deep inside their heart, in a voice so small they can't hear and they try to ignore, their soul keeps calling, crying out, likely screaming for them to hear in their mind something deeper from in their heart, from beyond their heart, tied to their own essence, here in the ether that's connected to everything. The connection that has nothing to do with physicality, but everything to do with metaphysicality, that is ultimately tied together in these bodies, these vehicles that we all experience our lives in this life, in this experience, for as long as we are allowed to experience it, because none of it is ours or is of our creation. We are allowed and granted this experience, maybe to see what we will become next. Maybe this life is only for that. It's more of like living your own death to see what you will be born into next, for your ultimate form, your ultimate energy. Will it be good and light? Will it be harmonious, or will it be darkness? Seems to me every moment, every heartbeat we experience, we get to make that choice. As we build the temple in our mind, full of either light or darkness, and in our heart, the house that houses the body, that encloses the system, all of the systems, internal systems that make up a body of a man or a woman that experiences life here in this existence. And realizing everything out there is made up of all of those systems the same way, so intricately connected. Just takes go deeper, please, into the heart, to where mind and fear running amok does not control, and get control in the heart, and connect, reconnect, connect to the conscience, to know together in heart and mind what's right, what's wrong. Know that you've been lied to all along, and you can purge those lies, those contradictions of belief held in mind, and you can know things for sure yourself, one way or another, right or wrong, yes or no. Or you can know that you do not know or cannot know a certain thing. You can know that as well. Does not take belief in anyone that presents you in any kind of information. Be better to find out and know for yourself, and know inside, and let your heart guide you as to what's right and what's wrong, and then heal quickly. Get the bad stuff out. Help others do the same as you come to realize things inside you, with the deep knowing that will come, and in the wisdom that comes from that as you act on it. That's granted, I would say, though, from the Most High, and that takes empathy. It's not of just mind. Empathy in the heart is key to the equation inside of unifying, of putting oneself together fully, and then helping others do the same. Thanks for listening.